They used a divorce decree to slice their cake of debt, but they forgot that the cream licked from the knife blade always leaves a fingerprint. And as the keys to 33 London mansions jingle in a pocket overseas, 1.62 million doors in China are rattling in a storm of financial ruin. The world has been watching a surreal, real-life drama unfold. The title? I'm 2 trillion in debt, but my ex-wife has 33 mansions in London. The cast is a list of superstars. The lead role is played by Brother Belt, aka Xu Jiayan, the founder of Evergrande, a man who turned the Midas touch into a mountain of debt. His ex-wife, a Miss Ding, gives a stunning guest performance as the master of the precise retreat. And the supporting cast includes, but is not limited to, an all-starred team of executives with an appalling lack of table manners and a captive audience of VIPs who paid in cash and unlocked the unfinished apartment prize package. This epic production features a stage built from 2.39 trillion yuan in debt. The special effects are a backdrop of 1.62 million unfinished homes, and the suspenseful soundtrack is a 60 billion Hong Kong dollar global asset freeze. It is, without a doubt, the cinematic masterpiece of modern financial disasters. You have to admire Brother Belt. He played the real estate game like it was Tetris, but while others tried to clear lines, he just kept stacking the blocks higher and higher, building a mountain of debt so tall it could crush a city. And there he stood, right at the peak, enjoying the view. Debt? What is that? Some new kind of health supplement? Brother Belt's life story tells you that when you have enough debt, you don't worry. You burn it for fuel. And it makes the dividend payouts especially thrilling. From its IPO in 2009 until the eve of its collapse in 2021, Evergrande paid out nearly 70 billion yuan in dividends. The Xu family, with their 76% stake, personally pocketed 54 billion of that. That's the equivalent of withdrawing 14.8 million yuan, over $2 million from the company every single day for 12 years. And the most surreal part? In June of 2021, with the debt bomb's countdown timer at just 3 months, Xu calmly collected another 1.5 billion in dividends. That very same month, the 34 billion yuan belonging to 100,000 investors in Evergrande's wealth management products was being buried alive in the company's financial ruins. Debt-to-asset ratios, those are just high scores to be beaten. In Brother Belt's eyes, they were like the velvet ropes in a VIP airport lounge. When Evergrande's debt ratio blew past the red line in 2020, he simply performed a magic trick with perpetual bonds, making $19 billion of debt vanish from the balance sheet. A move smoother than a face change in a Sichuan opera. And then there was the technical divorce in July 2020, an act of pure performance art. While the public was gossiping about celebrity breakups, Brother Belt was using a legal document to construct a financial firewall between himself and his wife. A few months later, Evergrande officially imploded, and Miss Ding began her London Home Shopping Freedom Tour. Her shopping list in London perfectly demonstrated the principle of seeking wealth amidst danger, except the danger was outsourced to the nation. While Evergrande was collapsing back home, she was calmly doing some bulk real estate purchasing in Kensington. She snapped up 33 properties in one go for 527 million Hong Kong dollars. No haggling. Through a web of 5 offshore companies in the British Virgin Islands, she bought the portfolio. One penthouse worth 57 million was registered directly in the names of her 2 sons and a grandson. The genius of this move is that while 3 million homeowners were trapped in 1.62 million unfinished apartments back in China, Miss Ding was using a premier property management system to lock in a 4.2% annual rental yield on her London portfolio. The money flowed out of China so smoothly, you'd think exchanging yuan for pounds was as easy as picking up a package downstairs. Her team claimed the funds came from past dividends. Translation, this is my private stash, so back off. As for that pesky 50,000 US dollar annual limit on foreign currency exchange, for people with real power, that's like trying to secure a bank vault with a child-proof lock. The executive team, of course, were masters of the let me get rich first, then I'll get out philosophy. On the eve of the wealth management platform's collapse, they demonstrated their prowess. While others might get a small internal discount, Evergrande's executives had a VIP channel for their own investment products, offering annual returns of 25%, a number so wild it sounds like an illegal fundraising scheme. And so, just before the platform technically exploded, the company president and other top execs cashed out their principal and interest, a cool 116 million Hong Kong dollars, and made a clean getaway. They ran so fast they left after images. The ordinary investors were left to pick through the rubble. And the final insult? After a Hong Kong court froze 60 billion of that former president's assets, he was still permitted a $50,000 monthly living allowance and quietly managed to sell his luxury mansion for $280 million. This wasn't a spending restriction, it was a guide to exquisite living. As for the investors, they paid for a VVIP membership only to find the server had been shut down. They thought they were buying a piece of a gold mine. They discovered they were actually funding the construction of a leek greenhouse, a sucker farm. Those elderly investors, clutching their contracts and crying, could probably never imagine that their life savings weren't lost to market competition. They were used to add a brick here, a tile there, to their former boss's wife's portfolio of London mansions. And then there are the suppliers, the house buyers, the collateral damage. A tile supplier holding $200 million in worthless commercial paper said, "This stack of garbage is enough to line the coffins for my entire family." Creditors of the failed Evergrande auto were paid in cars from a brand that produced only 900 vehicles a year and had lost 99% of its value. And the house buyers, the ultimate victims. As Mrs. Ding adjusted the underfloor heating by the River Thames, 4.8 million Evergrande homeowners in China were living a real-life version of the Hunger Games. They'd scroll through photos of her lavish London interiors while sitting in their own four-walled, wind-swept, skeletal apartments, trying to console themselves with dark humor. "Well, at least I have a cross-country sea view," they'd say, looking out over a desolate, muddy construction site. And who enabled this? The auditor, PricewaterhouseCoopers. For 14 years and 500 million yuan in fees, they perfected the art of the invisible hand. They somehow managed to not notice 564 billion yuan in fabricated revenue. Their audit, which had a sampling rate of just 0.2%, was a masterclass in willful blindness. This was a culinary audit. They must have been more interested in the menu at Evergrande's cafeteria than in its books. And so now the liquidators are left with less than 10 billion in disposable assets to face a 2.4 trillion yuan black hole. The estimated recovery rate for offshore creditors is 9 cents on the dollar. The situation is so bleak that even auctioning off Zhu Jian's private Airbus jet seems like a drop in the ocean. The ultimate black comedy, among Mrs. Ding's 60 billion in frozen assets, a certain US dollar account remains exempt. It turns out that in the world of capital, spending limits are about altitude, not latitude. When 54 billion in dividends becomes 33 London title deeds, when 2.4 trillion in debt becomes 1.62 million unfinished homes, this surreal drama produced by the universe's largest property developer tells us one thing. Sometimes high-level strategy isn't about vision, it's about misdirection. Debt isn't the end. For some, it is the beginning of a global shopping spree. And you and I might just be the small-ticket items in their magnificent shopping cart who quietly contributed a few cents. So the next time you see a business miracle that can never fail, maybe ask yourself, when the curtain finally falls, who is packing their bags and who is left to clean up the battlefield? Because the light in a London sunroom and the beam from a flashlight in an unfinished apartment may come from the same sun, but they illuminate two entirely different parallel worlds. This is the surreal truth. Their golden cicada sheds its shell escape has been elevated to performance art, while the rest of us are left trying to figure out who to sue after tripping over the empty shell. It's a script that would make Shakespeare himself blush. As the poets of our time have written, a tycoon's gold touch turns to mountains of red, while his wife across oceans prepares a new bed. 10 years of high payouts, 500 billion they bled, for 33 mansions, the news headlines read. Executives vanish to shores far away, while in skeletal towers the common folk pray. An auditor's blind eye just saves the whole day, as offshore accounts keep the vultures at bay. Don't ask who is paying the ultimate price, just look at the mansions and the roll of the dice. That is all for this episode. Thank you for watching. We will see you